Warbuton, with Emma Fielding, Jim Norton and Stephen Hogan.
Sometimes I stand here so long, just looking out at the street, I almost forget where I am, or what I'm looking for, and I don't notice the time passing. Then, all of a sudden, I find I can't even see the cottages at the end of the row. Not properly. The edges have gone, and they're all joined with trees and bushes. It's one dark shape, and the colours disappeared from doors and window frames. It's got dark while I've been watching, and I haven't even felt it. Well, there's not a lot of point watching in the dark. If someone did come, I'd hardly see them. Then I think, but they might come, even at this late hour. They might just be walking by, and if I weren't watching, I'd never know. They go straight by, and I'd never see them again. And they might have helped. That's the thing. They might have helped. Because I do believe that someone will come. One day someone will have to come. But of course I watch for hours, and I don't see a soul. Or I only see someone from the village, and I know they're going to be no help. No, it'll have to be a stranger that comes by. I'm sure of that. When I can't make out the handle on old Barker's door, I give it up for the night. That's my sign. Then I go upstairs to sit with Samuel. Not yet, I tell him. There's no one yet.
It was a clear, still night, but cold, and I could tell the weather was about to turn. I walked down the middle of the main street, and the village felt as if it had turned its back on me. Shut doors and settled curtains. I saw just 3 signs that the place sheltered any life. First, 2 men came out of the darkness towards me, talking seriously together, like plotters. Something to do with a fence they were building. They nodded at me as I passed. It didn't seem to bother them, a single traveller, passing through their village in the thick of night. Then I walked on, and reached the end of the main street, where the cottages thinned out. And there was a meadow I could just make out in the moonlight, and by it an inn, the Primrose. This was the second sign, a glow of light from the inn spilling onto the board by the door. Painted on the board was the little yellow flower, standing out against the dark. So the innkeeper was probably still up. The third sign was at the last cottage in the village. It was set apart from the others. I saw light there too, a thin light at one window, and part of a shadow. Someone looking out. They'd not all turned their backs then. I stopped and looked, but they didn't withdraw. The curtain remained fixed. I'm used to being watched from behind curtains because I'm always the traveller, the stranger. People usually draw back if they think I'm going to return their look. Beyond the inn, the road curved away into darkness, and on the bend was a ruined tree, hollowed out, a grey case of wood charred down one side. It was the last thing in sight. So, the end of the village, then. I didn't want to turn back. So I could either walk on and risk the cold and the dark, or I could knock at the cottage door, or I could try the inn.
There weren't a lot doing that night. A bit too quiet for me. Mushy and Blazer had been in, and the 2 choirmen from the next village playing cards, and poor old Barker. He'd been singing to himself, like he does, sitting on his own. He never minds if there's anyone to listen or not. Then his daughter turned up to fetch him away, and it was just me and the fire. So I thought I might as well bar the door and finish for the day. Only the day won't finish with me. Not yet.
Am I too late?
Well, it depends. Can I help?
I was walking to the next village, but I see no sign of it.
Oh, no, sir. It's a while off yet.
And the weather's spinning. It's not so still as it was.
Yes, I can hear it.
If it doesn't snow, it'll rain. Is this your inn, or must I ask someone else?
No, it's mine.
Ah, you run everything yourself.
Yes, it's not that hard to manage. I can make up a bed for you, or there's the settle by the fire. You're welcome to that if you like.
You're very kind.
And that's not a bed, so I won't charge you for it. You can sit there till night. Might be better than walking on.
Thank you.
You haven't been here before, have you?
Once, but a good few years ago. At least I think I've been here. The inn was called something else then.
Yes, sir. The coach it were then. I found a new name for it when I took over.
The Primrose. And this picture, is that...
That's a primrose too, yes. Only it's not really a picture.
No, it looks...
It's in a frame and it has glass, yes, sir, but that is the flower itself. It's been pressed. You can see the colours faded. I had that done for my girl. What did you want in the next village? There's nothing there.
Then it's a stepping stone to the one beyond. That might serve just as well. I'm not looking for anything in particular.
Oh, just travelling.
Just travelling.
We never go to the next village, if we can help it. Not from here. Now and again, some of them will come here, but that's different.
Oh, why?
Well, there's more here to interest them. We had a couple in earlier, from the church choir. They come here after practice, or the parson never knows they're drinking. He don't approve. Here we are, sir.
Oh, thank you. Oh, can I,
Oh, that's all right, sir. Hospitality.
Thank you. Your health.
I'm glad to see you, really. It were right flat before you turned up.
I'm not sure that I'll make any difference.
Well, if you sat here and never said a word, sir, it'd be an improvement. It's been generally quiet of late.
And why's that?
Well, I don't really know, sir. Winter coming on, I expect. We did have Mushy and Lacer in. They're not long gone. You might have seen them.
I think I did.
Decent enough lads, but you don't learn a lot off them. Unless it's fences.
Ha! Fences, then I did see them.
Oh, they've been working on Marsden's estate, mending his fences. They might occasionally have something to say about hedging or ditching, but they won't stray much further than that. I joined them a couple of times just to see if I could make them change the subject, but I never could. It were all fences and what black ooze does to wood, or it were complete silence.
The cottage opposite.
With the flint wall. That's Doddy's old place.
There was a light and someone looking out.
Was there?
I was curious.
I expect they were too, sir. Nothing more than that. Just travelling, he said he were, and making do what he could. No purpose to his travelling. Odd kind of thing to do. Still, he seemed decent enough. An elderly gentleman, but rather spry. And by his voice, not from around here, though I couldn't say where. When I heard the clock on the landing give out midnight, I went to fetch him some bread and soup. I brought it back, and he were looking towards me over his shoulder, but he weren't seeing me. The outer door were open again, and another visitor stood there, half in and half still out in the night. I felt the chill down one side.
I guessed her to be from the cottage I'd just seen, what he called Doddy's old place. She looked directly at me, but said nothing. She's afraid, I thought. She wasn't very old, and she was slight, like a bird hesitating there on the threshold, not quite daring to come in, uncertain of her welcome.
Catherine.
You got a visitor, I see, Robert.
Yes, just passing through.
I've seen him from a window.
Catherine. It's late, Catherine. He won't want to be disturbed.
Then you speak to him for me. I'll wait here. I'll say nothing.
I can't speak to
You
him.
can, Robert. You know what to say.
No, Catherine, it's not right.
Just ask. If he says no, he says no. But we won't forgive ourselves, will we, if you don't even ask?
There's nothing to ask.
No, there is. I have to try.
Listen to me. Listen. You can't go on doing this, woman. Haven't I told you that enough? Every time someone puts his head round my door, they don't want to hear about
Then
it.
they can say so. What do you expect me to do? No one else will help me. My child is sick, Robert. He needs help. I'm to sit at my window and watch them walk by, am I? Is that it?
They can't help you.
You do not know that. Hope is one of God's most precious gifts. Don't you believe that?
Yes, I do, but...
So, I have to hope there's help for him somewhere in the world. And why shouldn't it come from a traveller passing through? It won't come from neighbours, I do know that, because they've already turned their backs on Samuel.
They haven't, you know they haven't.
Turned their backs long ago. They wouldn't give up hope for one of their own, would they? They'd try anything, so why do they hold out against me?
They're not hope.
Because it's someone else's child, their hope soon wears out. If only they saw him. The poor mite. But they won't, will they? They won't even see him now. There's not a speck of help left in this village. I have to try a stranger. I've no choice.
Look, I'll ask him. I'll see what he says.
Thank you.
But don't wait here.
I won't go into.
Because he very likely can't be of use.
No, I shall go. I've left Samuel long enough.
If the man can help, he'll come to the cottage, I'm sure.
Bless you, Robert.
But you mustn't sit up waiting. Don't expect him to call.
I know, but we will have tried.
Yes. All right?
You're a good man, and I trust you to be fair. If he can help, nothing will stop him coming. I do know that.
Lord help me.
When he turned and looked at me, I could see he was sorry I'd heard them. Not for strangers, that kind of thing. All the same, he joined me by the fire to talk.
She's given to fretting, Catherine is. Alone in the cottage and everything.
I expect so.
She's not really of this village.
No?
No. She married a village man, though. Doddy. Big, broad chap he was. Worked up at the mill. Do you know him?
No, I don't think so.
No. Well, Doddy's name spread, so you might have done. He were well known several villages wide.
Known for what?
Well, for being a bit cracked, mostly, you know, living on his own and not speaking to anyone.
You mean he said little, or...?
He said next to nothing. He could speak, he just never bothered. When he were at school, they asked him questions. What's this, Doddy, what's that, and all the rest of it. And he answered short as ever he could. But when he walked out the school gate on his last day, that were the end of it.
He stopped speaking?
Well, more or less. I mean, very, very rarely did he say anything. And it was the talk of the village when he did.
But he married?
Catherine.
Catherine, yes.
Oh, yes. Well, that were a boat from the blue, that were. About 4 or 5 years back, he walked to the next village for something or other. Something to do with the mill, we all thought. And when he returned, 2 days later, he had her with him.
And they were already married, were they, when he came back?
They were. He never said as much, of course, but it were confirmed later.
So he must have talked to her.
Well, maybe, maybe not. He would have mumbled something during the ceremony, I dare say. And they must have taken it for a yes.
And Catherine, she agreed to this, did she?
Well, I suppose so. It were probably a chance to make a new go of things for her. Oh, they weren't much of a family, her lot. Always after something or other, and who cares how. Fly-by-nights. So she weren't much liked round here to begin with, on account of them. And she were a skinny wee thing, you know, with those kinds of quick eyes, forever looking out and about. No trust.
Why should that be?
Well, her old man, probably. Anyway, in due course, she had the child, Samuel, and she...
What?
Changed.
Changed? How?
Hard to say. There were a shine about her all of a sudden. She talked to people in the village. She couldn't help herself.
Because of the child?
Yes, very likely.
And people talked to her?
They did then. Like I said, she were different. We saw another side of her.
A better side?
Yes. And then the boy got ill.
So it's natural she should worry for him.
Oh, she did that all right.
And ask for help.
Ask? Well, she never lets up. And she were given help. Don't think she weren't.
But so much and no more.
Well, you don't know.
But that's right, isn't it? So much and no more. People got tired of her asking and the help ran out. Is that it?
We couldn't do no more.
Perhaps not, but...
No, I'm telling you, there weren't nothing we could do. You don't have to look like that about it.
How am I looking?
Like you can see what I'm thinking. You can't.
Of course I can't.
You can't go making up your mind about us. A whole village on 5 minutes of seeing her. She's well known round here. She bothers everyone. It don't matter who.
Bothers?
Yes. Well, that's what it is. People have to get on. They don't want... You can't keep dragging them back over the same old things. I know what she wanted.
All you have to do is ask.
Oh, yes. Quite straightforward, very easy.
That's all she wanted. To ask me.
It's not just you. It's everyone that passes through, no matter who they are. This is once for you. For me, it's all the time. I'm sorry to get worked up, sir, but she's a difficult woman. And she's not right in the head. Surely you can see that.
I can see she was upset. I can see...
Upset? That's more than that.
I can see a silent husband might not be much comfort. And if her child is unwell...
Her child is dead.
Dead? You mean he's...
He's dead. He died. And she comes in here every day asking for help.
But surely...
We've tried telling her, of course we have. She won't listen. He's in the room upstairs, and it's cold. She lights no fires, so... Well...
You've seen him?
I went over there, yes, to see what I could do. Oh, she took no notice of me.
What about her husband?
Gone.
Gone?
Doddy took off, by himself.
You mean he left her? When she just lost...
When they both had. It were odd in him, too. And that were probably the reason, though who knows what was going on in Doddy's head.
Then what does Catherine think is going on?
Oh, she's nothing to say about Doddy.
But the child?
Well, she thinks he's sick. And he'll get better as long as she keeps up hope and stays faithful and alert. She thinks that one day someone will come along...
Who?
I don't know. Some stranger who knows something we don't, I expect.
I'm sorry. I didn't realize.
No. Well, it's not the likeliest of explanations, I suppose. Like I said, you're welcome to settle for the night, and you can leave whenever you're ready, and you don't have to stay. I just ask one thing.
And what is that?
When you go, don't let us see you leave, for all our sakes.
Catherine?
Oh, yes, sir. I was hoping you'd call. Come through. Come through. It's good of you to come.
Isn't it my duty?
Your duty?
At least to return your visit.
But I never...
We almost met last night. I was there when you called at the inn.
Oh.
Though Robert didn't introduce us.
No.
So it's almost as if we have met.
Yes. I did see you walking through the village, yes, but I didn't know if you intended to stop.
Well, I didn't know myself.
Well, some don't, they just keep walking.
Well, it was dark and the weather was turning.
Yes, sir. It has turned good and proper now, hasn't it?
Oh, 2 days' rain at least, I should think.
I should too. Robert said he'd ask you, sir.
Yes.
He said you might stop if you felt able to help, can you? Is that why you've come?
May I sit down?
Oh, of course, sir. I'm sorry. You can sit by the fire.
Thank you.
I don't keep it burning at the moment because of Samuel. It's best to keep the place cool for him. Oh, will you take something to drink?
No, thank you.
We don't get a lot of folk through here, and they don't all stop, not by any manner of means. I've watched them, and I know they will have heard about Samuel, but they still go on their way without a word to me, sir.
Well, they sense they can't help, perhaps.
Maybe.
They don't know what to say.
Maybe they don't. They could wish us well, though, at the very least. Or they could talk to my boy, couldn't they?
Could they?
While he sleeps, they could. You talk to a sleeping child, don't you? There's no telling what good that might do, or what gets understood.
He's sleeping now?
A good long sleep, sir. That's how the sickness has taken him. Do you know about this kind of sickness? Because if you do...
My knowledge of medicines is limited, I'm afraid.
Oh. Well, it's a very deep kind of sleep. We've seen nothing else like it round here. I sometimes think it's like he's in another village, sir.
Your old village?
Oh, no, he wouldn't go there. He's staying in a different village for a while, and when he's done all he has to do there, he'll come back to me. And then I think he'll be amazed to see how long he's been away. He won't have the first idea.
What does he do there in this other village, do you think?
I doubt he does much. He's only little. He likes to sit and watch the animals, I should imagine.
Dreaming?
Yes.
He watched the animals in this village?
Yes. If you let him, he'll sit for an age to watch the piglets trot about. He likes them. He just sits on top of the gate. He don't even know where he is half the time.
And you expect him to come back? To wake from this sleep?
Yes, sir. If only I can help him. Or someone else can. Can you tell me, have you come for that?
Your help isn't enough?
No, I've done all in my power so far and I haven't got nowhere. You see, what it is, there's something important I'm not doing. That's what I suspect. Something maybe quite little I'm not doing properly. If only I can find out what it is.
Do you think that I might know?
I'm not sure, sir. I hope so. I try to keep my hope alive.
But I might make no difference at all. I might not know what the one thing is, any more than you do.
Well, of course, sir, that's always possible.
If his father knew about this...
Well, his father's gone.
I know, but perhaps he could be told.
He doesn't need telling, he knows. That's why he went, because he gave up all hope.
I'm sorry. I only thought that he
He wanted a son, sir. That's all he ever wanted, and it were all he ever talked of. He said little enough on the best of days. I expect they told you that about him.
Yes, Robert did.
Well, Doddy were the same with me as he were with the village. Hardly ever a word. There were no whispering behind this door.
Was he unkind to you?
Unkind, not specially.
But if he didn't talk to you...
I don't know, it's just that he never took no notice. I didn't mind. I was used to it. My old man, my father, didn't have nothing to say to me either.
Did he talk of his son?
He talked of him before he were born, yes, though never much. He wanted someone to carry things on for him, with the mill and everything. So we walked 9 miles to my old man's cottage, and that was the first time I saw him. He came into the kitchen, and he told the old man...
That he was looking for a wife?
No, sir, a son.
You mean...
I mean exactly what I say. He wanted a boy child. He needed one. He were prepared to pay for one.
But he must have seen you. You were there at your father's cottage.
Oh, yes, and that made no odds. How many other cottages did he call at before he got to us? That's what I sometimes wonder.
Well, perhaps none. Perhaps he knew of you.
It's not likely. Our cottage were the last resort, I imagine. It usually were for other things. Folk went there when they couldn't avoid it. And even then he would have had one of my sisters. Only one were already taken and the other put her foot down. It didn't matter to me. I didn't care.
Tell me what happened. The day he came to the cottage.
Why, it's of no interest.
It is to me. What you felt to be won that way.
I felt nothing.
No, not one. Bought.
I were doing the vegetables when Doddy came in and made his announcement. He knew I were there, but he never looked at me much, and I didn't look much at him.
It's a barren enough start to a life together.
Well, it's not together, is it? Not now.
No, but I suppose sometimes love does grow from such unlikely beginnings.
Love? He didn't want love. Neither did I.
Do you know where he is?
No.
Could you...
I don't want to know. It'll make things worse if he comes back. He walked out because he gave up hope for Samuel. He was so sure that my son would... that he were going to... Forgive me, sir. But aren't we wasting our time talking about Doddy? He's gone and forgotten. I thought you'd come to help my son.
I came to call on you.
But can you help him? Will you just say if you can?
I don't know. I can't be sure.
I'm begging you, if you can, sir, to try. Even if you're not certain about it, he needs someone to try for him, you see?
Well, let me think.
But now, he's sick now.
You know, this isn't an easy thing to ask.
Yes, I know that.
Then... You must let me go away to think, and then I'll come back in just a little while, and I'll see what can be done.
Yes, sir, I see.
You don't believe I'll come back?
I don't know. Folk do make promises sometimes.
This isn't just a promise, Catherine.
Then it turns out to be an excuse so they can get away.
No, I will come back. You know where the road bends at the top of the village?
Yes?
I saw an old tree there.
Half burned up in a storm, I know it.
That's where I'll go. I shall walk as far as that tree and then turn back, and I shall think about Samuel as I walk. And I want you to do the same thing. I want you to think about him while I'm away.
And aren't I doing that this very moment? At every moment? How can you say that?
No, listen to me.
My every next thought.
Listen, Catherine, listen. There are two things I shall ask when I come back. You must think about those things in particular.
And what are they?
The first is why you chose his name, and the second is where he was when he laughed.
When he laughed?
Yes, where he was and what he was doing. I want you to think about that. One single moment. I want you to be able to tell me about it. I did as I said, went as far as the dead tree, and I stepped off the road to place my hand on it for a moment. It was hard, like a table made shiny with use. I thought about the lifeless child, upstairs in the cold cottage. I was about to come away when I heard voices through the rain. They were coming from the field behind the tree. A fence divided the field into two rough halves. At least, I assumed it did. I couldn't see the far side of the field because of the darkness and the rain. Two figures faced each other across the fence.
Poor weather, gentlemen!
I walked back to the cottage. You've thought about those questions, have you?
Yes, sir.
And you still want me to help?
Yes, sir.
You still think I can?
Yes.
All right. Tell me why you chose the name.
I chose it myself. His father didn't mind about names. It came out of the Bible, sir.
The prophet Samuel?
Yes. They asked his mother the same question about why she chose his name, and she said, "Because I have asked him of the Lord." I thought, that's what I did.
You asked for him?
In a way I did, yes. He came as a blessing to me, you see, sir.
So it wasn't just your husband who wanted a child?
No. But I didn't know I wanted him. Not till afterwards. At first he was just the will of other people. He were their idea. But when he were born and I saw him, he'd become my idea, entirely my idea, complete. I think he had been all along, only I didn't see it.
And what about the second question? A time when he laughed?
Yes, sir. I thought of that too. It were when we went walking through the meadows back in the summer, and we come across Mushy and Lacer.
Ah, yes.
They do ditching and hedging for Mr. Marsden. I believe he don't care that much about his fences, but it's a matter of pride with them two. Well, they got Samuel to help them sink a hole through a post. The ground were wet and soft, and the mud come up easy. Samuel liked that. Well, I sat and watched, and they soon had a good hole dug. And when it were done, they stood him in it.
Wasn't he afraid?
No, not at all. He looked round for me and he laughed. Standing there like a soldier, half black with mud and laughing. I always thought they were a bit soft in the head, those two. But that were a kind thing to do, weren't it?
Yes.
Well, I done what you said. Your two questions. You must say now how you can help.
If I can. Perhaps there's little to be done.
And perhaps it's only a little thing that needs doing.
Yes, but if your hope is too fierce...
It has to be fierce. I look at it like this. Why did you stop here in this village if it weren't meant to be? That's hope. That's the beginning of hope.
Very well.
You will?
I'll do what I can.
Oh, thank you, sir. Thank you.
But you must do your part.
Yes, of course.
You must do exactly as I say.
I will anything.
It will seem strange, but you know already, because you've told me yourself, the smallest thing might be a help.
Oh, yes, sir, I believe it.
In some unlooked-for way. Well then, I will need mustard seed.
Oh, mustard. To make a poultice.
You mustn't ask, just fetch me mustard seed. But listen to me, Catherine. You must go to this village for it, and the next one.
Yes, sir. I know the next village. It's where I'm from, like I said.
You need to call at every cottage, and at the big house, too.
Mr. Marston?
Yes, you won't be afraid?
Not for this, no.
Well then, at each place, they must give you a single seed. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
You ask at every house, but you don't take from every house. You must only take from those houses that don't know death.
Don't know death?
The houses where death hasn't visited.
Yes, sir, I see.
You'll have to ask, and then we'll see what can be done.
Will you wait for me to bring them, sir?
No, I'll come back. I won't forget you, Catherine. Do you believe me?
Yes, sir, I believe you.
I heard about it. What he got her to do. Because people come in here and talk, and they'll certainly talk when there's something as daft as that carrying on. Collecting mustard seed. It was just firing up her hope. She went to her old village first, full of purpose, striding out. I stood at the door and watched her. She could have asked round here, but she wouldn't do that. We were the ones who turned our backs. She'd show us we were wrong. She were away all day. Came back in the dark. Never said a word to a soul. And that's how it went the next day, too. Out all day, the cottage left empty, and then you'd look over and see a candle move in the upstairs room, and you knew she were back, and she were going to sit by the boy all night. I didn't expect to see you again.
I told Catherine I'd come back.
You said you'd help her. You haven't done that.
We don't know yet.
Oh, I think we do. I took you for having more sense. What good is hope when there's nothing behind it?
It wasn't exactly hope I was offering.
And what kind of happiness is it that lasts a couple of days and then makes the rest of her life a misery?
I don't intend to make her miserable.
But that's what she will be when she learns the...
truth.
Truth.
That there is no hope.
You think that's the truth?
It is for her. It is for most of us.
But I have come back, haven't I? So clearly I don't mean to abandon her.
Oh, well, perhaps it would be best if you did.
I intend to see her.
Well, don't wait here. You're no longer welcome. Make your way and leave her alone. I waited for her to come to me. I knew she would. In the end, she'd have to.
Robert?
Oh, Catherine. I didn't hear you come in.
No. I've been waiting for the others to go. I want to talk to you on your own.
It's late, love. We can't do anything useful tonight, can we?
It's only a simple thing I have to ask.
Well, I have to clear away. I can't...
No, it's all right. It's not like last time.
Maybe not, but...
You don't have to do anything much, and I'll not keep you up. This is to help Samuel.
Yes, I know.
Then let me ask.
I know
Do you
what
have
you
some
want.
mustard seeds here somewhere? You're bound to.
No, you don't
Yes,
want...
I have to.
Catherine, it won't do no good.
It will. You don't understand.
I understand well enough. I've heard about this. The old village has... Catherine, will you take it from me? There's no point. But look, the easy thing for me is to say yes. All right, yes. I'll go and find you what you want.
You will?
No. Listen to me. I can't. I can't do the easy thing because I'd be fooling you just the same as him if I did that.
No, you wouldn't. Will you just let me explain? All I want is one. One mustard seed.
I know.
That's all I'm asking for. One. What will that cost you? You can, Robert. I know you can.
Why do you need me? You've asked the others.
I have to ask you. It's because Death's not been here.
What?
Death hasn't visited this house.
I don't understand what you mean.
Well, this is the inn, and you're here on your own.
I know, but...
So this place is clear of death. That's what the traveller said I must ask. He said it has to be a mustard seed from a house where there's been no death. I can't just take any seed.
I never knew he said that.
He did. And you are here on your own, aren't you?
Yes.
You see, this is a lively place. It's full of life. I see people coming and going.
No. I'm sorry. I can't help you.
Please.
Don't ask me, Catherine. Don't ask me.
I went to the cottage and sat by the cold fire to wait for her. The room was dark, and I could see the rain against the window. Time passed, and I saw her come out of the primrose and cross the road, hunched against the rain, but not hurrying. She came in and lit a candle. She wasn't surprised to see me there.
You've come back then?
She was pale, and her face still wet from the rain. A dark strand of her hair stuck to her brow, and her eyes were different. I could tell. You come from the inn. I saw you.
Yes. My last call.
What have you brought me?
You know what I've brought.
Show me. She held out her fist, squeezed tight. Then she opened it, and it was empty.
Nothing. Nothing. You knew it would be nothing.
No mustard seed. Not even from the inn?
Did you know? About the girl who died there?
No. Tell me.
His sweetheart. He named the place for her. It was the flower she liked best, the primrose. I didn't know any of this. I never heard about any girl.
What happened to her?
They were about to be wed. And afterwards they planned to run the inn together. So they came to look at the place one Sunday after church because there were a lot of work that had to be done, fixing walls and things, Robert said. And Hannah, that were her name, she felt worn out from the walk, so she sat down at the big table to rest.
The big table in the middle by the fire?
That's right, the same table. She had some primroses she picked on the way, and she laid them out on that table. Just moving them about with her fingers, he said. She hadn't the strength for much else. Well, Robert got busy round the place. He had a lot to do. He said he hardly spoke to her, he was so busy. And she died. She died sitting there.
She must have been ill.
Yes.
This was more than being worn out from a walk.
Oh, it was more than that. Her lungs were bad. She had to fight for breath all the time. Everything was so hard to do, and her heart just gave out with the struggle of it. They knew it were taking its toll of her, but, well, one moment there, the next not.
He never told you about her?
No.
Why not?
I don't know.
But he hasn't forgotten her.
No. He had the flowers pressed for her. They're on the wall in that room.
He must wish he still had time with her.
Yes. He wishes he told her what he was thinking on that day, while he attended to the house and she sat playing with the flowers. Because he did think about her, but he never went in to say what he was thinking. And when he did, it was too late. Poor man, I never knew.
And Samuel?
Yes, sir. Every house I asked at, every one, they lost someone. A father or a sister, or they lost some because they were tired and at the end of things. But some, like Robert's girl, when they were still young and they had lots of things still to do.
That's why no one gave you a mustard seed.
Yes, sir.
And you've lost your little boy.
Yes, sir. I've lost Samuel.
Poor boy.
I don't understand it, sir. Why it should be him. But it happened. That's all I can say. It's the way of things.
It is the way of things. For everyone.
He was so little, sir. Such a little boy.
But his life is over now.
Yes.
It is complete. It is a little shape in itself. What it was going to be.
I shall miss him.
Of course.
What must I do now? I don't know what to do.
You must bury him.
Oh.
And then you can remember him.
Yes.
And everything you remember about him is part of you. He helped to make you.
And am I
still his mother.
Of course you are. And you have one more thing to do for him. Yes?
Yes, sir.
Do you want me to stay and help you?
From this little hill you can see most of the cottages in the main street. There's a row of windows, the slope of some roofs, the board outside the inn at the top of the village. A little while back I saw Robert come out and stand there, looking up to see if the weather were going to change. I thought he looked different. He weren't, of course. He were just the same. But he looked different to me, standing there under the primrose sign. He helped me with all that had to be done. There weren't much, but it were all done slowly and properly. It were only this afternoon, and I can't remember it all now. All the different things that happened. We did what had to be done, I know that. And we placed his grave close to a broad tree at the edge of the churchyard, because it looks like a safe and comfortable place to me. It's poured all afternoon. I looked up once and saw the man standing a short way off by himself, the rain running down his face. The next time I looked for him, he'd gone. I can't remember all the words that were said, but Robert is going to write them down for me. The words of the hymn and the verses from the Psalms that the parson said. And I shall read them over afterwards and remember all the other things as well. I've been here some time now. I can see that because it's getting dark, I notice. The others have left me on my own with Samuel for a while. Out of respect. I'm grateful to them for that. I shall stay here until I see the first light come on in the village. And then I shall walk home.
In Mustard Seed by Nick Warbuton, Catherine was played by Emma Fielding, The Traveller by Jim Norton, and Robert by Stephen Hogan. The director was Peter Kavanagh.